Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to show you how I massage my dogs. So I do it every week, once a week, give them all a massage. And I film myself doing it. And in a minute you'll see that video. So, like I said, I do it once a week and they get about 20 minutes each. So it takes me about an hour to do it. I find once a week it's enough. It does, makes them nice and flexible. So there's two reasons why I do it. It is to make them more flexible, especially as they're getting older. But I also do it because I want them to always live in a calm environment. I think all dogs, I'm known mostly for talking about dog nutrition, and there's no question about it that dogs' lives are changed when nutrition is good. There's no question about that. But I also believe that a dog will get ill if he lives in a stressful situation. And yeah, sure, you've got extreme trauma like with Humps there. But just living in a household that is stressful, I've seen dogs just really be quite ill just from that, and they don't do very well with it at all. And so even if you've got your diet right, living in a stressful environment just isn't good for a dog's immune system. So I work hard at keeping the house nice and calm and relaxed all the time, and keeping myself relaxed and calm. It's not always easy because life happens, but this massage, so not only do they get a nice relaxing time, but the house is incredibly relaxed and calm at that time, and I have to be relaxed and calm to do the massage, so it benefits me so much as well. So I'm going to take you now and just quickly show you a tool that I use to do it with. I do use my hands, but I find that can hurt a bit after an hour doing it. So I found a tool that I use. I'll take you and show you that now, and then you'll see me doing the massage. So when you see the video of me doing it, you'll see that I use my hand, but I also use this to stop my hand from hurting. It's not a massage tool, it's actually for grooming dogs, and it's absolutely brilliant for Humps because he's got a double coat. And it's the best thing I've ever found for grooming a dog. It's called a Kong Zoom Groom. But for massaging dogs, it's great because it's so soft, but they're really, really soft. And I find it really great. I'll find it on Amazon and pop it in the description for you. But that is really, really helpful. But you could massage them with maybe a soft brush if your hands are hurting. But that's the best thing I've found yet. Okay, boys, should we do this? Should we start with little Albert? Let's start with little Albert. And do this. Come on then, you go over there, look. You go there, that's it. Good boy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Right, are you ready? All right then, where shall we start? Start here. Okay. There we go. That's nice, isn't it? Nice and gently on there. There we go. So I'm not pressing on that at all. It's very, very gentle to begin with. And then after I've done it for a few seconds, I'll press a bit harder. Sometimes what happens is the boys will push into my hand if they really like it. But I just start off nice and gentle. And I'm just really using my hand guiding the Zoom Groom thing. And like I said, I just find it a bit easier on my hands because by the time I've done all three of them, I could be doing this for an hour and it gets quite harsh. Now what does happen is Harry tries to jump the queue because he loves this so much, and so he's bringing me toys and trying to get to jump the queue, and I don't get distracted by anything else. I focus on the dog that I'm on. Yeah, don't we, darling? Yeah, we do. So just focus on the dog that I'm on and ignore Harry trying to get my attention. I stay really nice and calm. And I don't do the massaging too fast because that doesn't promote a good relaxing energy. Now, if the dog does this kind of thing where he's licking himself, now I know Albert well enough to know that he had a little, he needed just to have a little lick. But if it's a dog that is new to the massaging and they keep doing that, it could be a sign that they're a little bit unsure about what you're doing. And if that happens, just take either your hand or whatever you're using away. And if they don't walk away, then carry on. Now, I've been doing this to Albert all his life, and he's almost 11 now. So I know that he really likes it. I never hold them back at all. They can walk off at any point, and Albert often will. He'll just walk off, whereas Harry tends to stay for as long as I want him to. But Albert sometimes will just walk off. So I'm just going to keep doing the shoulders. In a minute, I'll show you what you can do if you want to do it with your hand. And just keep working down the body really slowly. Sometimes when you're doing this, you might find that you stop breathing. And you really just keep an eye, make sure that you're still breathing. It's nice, your energy is nice and relaxed. Don't ever do this if you haven't got time, because if you do this in a rush, you're just going to send the vibe down to the dog that it's something to be a little bit worried about. Now, this front leg of his, he hurt it. It was a few years ago now, and so just now and again, it just gets a little bit sore again for him, and so I just have to make sure that I go down it. And the thing is, because he's, look, almost 11 now, he's getting older, so his whole body needs a good massage. Now, what he does a lot is he hangs his head like this. And so I know that he's doing that because it's meaning that I'm able to get into the bits that he needs doing. Are you okay, Albert? Yeah, you're okay, aren't you, sweetheart? Yeah? There we go. I'm just going to work down his body. Now, I don't ever actually move the dog. What I do is I move myself. And I just work down the body. Now, sometimes if a part of a dog is hurting them, they might sit on that. Like, so if it's a back leg, for example, they might sit on it. Now, again, if I didn't know this dog, because he's just licked his paw, I would come away, just make sure that he's okay for me to continue. But because I know him so well, I know he's just having a lick. And I'm just going to keep working down. You're right, Harry, in a minute. It's your turn in a minute, Harry. Now, see, Harry here, he just loves it so much, and he does all he can to make me go, it's his turn. So it's really important that I don't get sucked up, I don't get engaged in his energy. No, it's not your turn there. Be your turn next. You can go next, can't you? Yeah, you can go next. So it's really important that I just ignore that behaviour. Some people might say, well, why don't you put him out of the room? Because that just creates hassle and stress. This is a very relaxed time, so I just ignore him. But it's lovely that he likes massaging so much that he tries to jump the queue. So I just work all the way down. I'm going to say it again in case I didn't say it in the bit before. It's really important that you don't do this for 2 hours after they've eaten. Because when you do this, the blood goes to the area that you're massaging. And their blood needs to be focused on the stomach to digest their food. And when you do this, it takes the blood away from the stomach to the area you're doing. So it's absolutely really, really important that you do this 2 hours after they've eaten, so that their food is really, really digested. And also after they've eaten, after you've done this, don't feed them for like an hour and a half. Make sure they've got a good rest, a good time period between you doing this and you feeding them again. you'll find that, well, I've always found that my dogs, this would be a bit of a laugh because it looks like in my videos all my dogs ever do is sleep, but they sleep, oh yeah. Now, if you touch an area, like I just touched that bit there and it was the skin twitches, that happens, it just means there's a little bit of tension there. So I go really, really lightly on that part. And then you'll find the twitching stops and you can go a little bit harder on it if you want to. When I do Harry in a minute, I'll show you it with my hand. Do the head nicely. Then I come back down. Just stop for a second. Are you alright, little Albert? Albert, you okay? Yeah, you enjoying it? Yeah, you want me to carry on? If you saw then, he kind of pawed me. And I know that's his way of saying, yeah, can you carry on? Now, this back leg here, it gets a bit stiff sometimes. You don't see it. I don't see it in day-to-day life that it gets stiff. But I know it gets a little bit stiff because it gets a bit twitchy when I touch it. Another sign is that if the dog goes to lick or grab the brush that you're using or your hand or whatever, that can be a sign that it's a little bit painful. And so that area there, I just go really, really gently with. The other thing is so this area here is a little bit tender for Albert, so I wouldn't just go from here and then straight to there with no warning. Well, excuse me. I work my way down the body so he knows that the next thing is going to be touching that back leg, which just gets a bit stiff, doesn't it, my darling? And work your way back up. If you know T-touch, I've done videos talking about it. This is an excellent time to do T-touch, and I do T-touch sometimes with the actual Zoom Groom. But this isn't T-touch. This is just massage, and I'm just circling. And I tend to circle just a few and then move. But you can do more circles in one spot, like that if you want to. Do the shoulder area because their shoulder takes a lot of strain. Especially if you've got a dog that pulls on the lead, then the shoulder are taking the strain of that. So you just keep going. I've still got a pickle boy waiting his turn. Honestly, he's terrible. So I've got 3 dogs. I've got a pickle boy and I've got a humps down here waiting really patiently. He's just playing with his toy, waiting patiently. And he jumps the queue all the time, don't you? When you've had your turn, you wait for humps and then you jump back in the queue, don't you? He absolutely loves being massaged. Are you alright, little Albert? Are you okay? You okay, my darling? Yeah? Do you want to have some more? Is that enough for today? Do you want to do a little bit? You want to do a little bit more? Okay. I don't know if I'm catching it with the camera, but it is lifting his front paw, sort of pawing me, and that is my way of knowing with him that he wants me to carry on. When I do humps in a minute, all right, Harry, your turn's next. When I do humps in a minute, you'll see that I have the same approach with him. Well, I'm just going to carry on for another maybe 5-10 minutes doing Albert. Right, Harry, it's your turn. Come on then, let's go over here and do it. Move over there. I'll get you in here to do you. Oh. Oh. Okay, it's your turn now then. Yeah, we know it's your turn. You like it, don't you? All right then. Now, it's the same thing, exactly the same as I do with Albert. I maybe am a little bit gentler with Albert. Albert is, you know, he's a bit older and he's... how old are you, Harry? You're 7, aren't you? So Albert's a little bit older. With Harry, I find that when I do it, he pushes into me. So you might notice that it looks like I'm doing it a bit harder because I am. Because he's pushing into that. So I'm doing it a bit harder. Oh, he just loves it. Don't you, sweetheart? He pulled a muscle in his back leg. Oh, it was a few months ago now. And it took a few weeks to recover. He was hobbling around on it for a bit. And so during that time, I did lots of work with massaging, but I had to go really slow and really gentle because it was hurting him. And so he didn't want me to really touch it. So I had to go really, really slowly. And I went around the leg, worked sort of the hip area, and then very gently worked on it. Now, if you see here, he's hanging his head. That is exactly the same thing that Albert does. And it's because it means you can get right into these muscles. Now, he doesn't pull on the lead. He's absolute joy to walk. But even so, he obviously still gets a bit of tension around the shoulders. And he hangs his head the same as Albert does. And that's because that stretches those muscles. And means you can get right in there and give them a really good rub. And I do the same thing that I did with Albert. I just work my way down the body. Same thing. Nothing's twitching on Harry, but if anything was, I would just go really gently on that area. And then bit by bit, it releases any tension. I need to go down your back, my darling. Again, the same with Albert. I don't ever move the dog. I move myself. And never held in any way, so he could just walk off at any point. I don't think you've ever walked off from a session, have you, my darling? Have you ever walked off from a massage session? I don't think you have. Can we come down the back? Sometimes you'll find that a dog will rearrange himself so that he's almost giving you an area to do. And just the same that if you notice that your dog, there is maybe a leg that he's not, he's sometimes what they'll do is they'll sit on it so that you can't get to it. And that's a sign that maybe that leg is hurting. Don't ever force it, ever. Just gently get as close as you can. And like I said, work down the body. Don't just suddenly appear in an area. Work the way down there so that they know that's where you're going. So like, for instance, supposing Harry had pain down the back, I wouldn't just go from there and then go like that. I would work my way down there so he would know that the massager was coming for that bit. You just keep going. And if, like, he's in a position here where I can't really get to his back legs, and I know that he hasn't been hurt. I know that it's just the way he's sitting. If he wants to move, he will. And if not, then we just keep doing this shoulder area. Just keep going with it. Oh, I'll show you how to do it with your hands. Right, so... Hold on, my other hand's hurting from holding the camera. I haven't stopped. I'm still doing it. So what I do is, I mean, you can do it like this. But I find that really, after doing that for an hour, it really does my fingers in. So what I do is I do this, just with my knuckles. So I've just got my knuckles like that, look. And I just do that sometimes. Yeah, I do the Kong most of the time because, like I said, I've got 3 dogs. And by the time I've done them all, I've been doing it for a good hour. But if you haven't got, a Kong or whatever, just do it with your hands. Sometimes if I'm like watching TV or whatever, and I haven't got it, and they're all cuddled up with me, I'll just do that with my hand. And you can just do that like with your knuckles. What is quite good with that is you can sort of get your knuckles into places, and sometimes you'll notice they push right into your knuckle. You can get in to places with more accuracy, I think, with just your knuckles. But like I said, if I did that for an hour, it wouldn't really work. But you can go down. And again, you can sometimes just do 1 or 2 circles. Sometimes you can stay in an area and do more. And just work your way down. Now, next I will be doing humps. So let me just talk to you about that situation for a bit. So my darling Humps down there, he's a rescue dog, and we've had him for, I don't know, nearly 2 years, well, about 1.5 years, something like that. But when he came to us, he was very nervous, aggressive. He had bitten a lot of people, all through nerves. And he was abused. He came from the South Korean meat trade. He was a breeding dog. So he spent his whole life, maybe 10 years, he just lived in a dark room in a stinking, filthy cage. And as a result, he really, really terrified of people, which you can't blame him for that for 1 second. And so we had to teach him that people were nice and that you could trust people. And it's been a long, long journey. I have been incredibly blessed. I am beyond grateful that from the moment I met him, we just bonded. But other people and men, he really was bad with them. Anyway, but now we're making incredible progress. But it does, I can do almost anything to him, but anything new for him, obviously he gets a little bit worried about, because he thinks, well, what is this? I don't know what it is. And the other thing is that it could remind him of something from his past. Like, you just don't ever know what someone's hit him with, or you just don't ever know. So I held off for a long time before I did massage with him. So he is a very cuddly boy. He thinks he's a little lap dog. He's such a cuddly boy with me. That took a long time to get though. Spent a lot of time where he wouldn't. Do you want me to move that, darling? You're lying on that. There we go. So we spent a lot of time where he wouldn't get up on the sofa and cuddle with me, but I would sit on the floor with him, and he was comfortable with that. And then eventually we got to the point where he would get up on the sofa, but he wouldn't cuddle with me, but he'd sit next to me. And then we went on and on and on, and now we're at the point where he's practically attached to me all the time and he can't get close enough. So what I did was, during all of that time, even though I gave him lots of strokes, and he would come for strokes, and eventually he wanted belly rubs and all of that, but what I did during that time was I would do the boys' massage and he would obviously be here. And two things, he could see that the boys liked it, but also he could feel the energy of it, because obviously you can't feel it, but it's incredibly calm energy in my house, and especially during this time. And so I just let him watch me do it with the other boys. And then I started doing it now he's used to that Kong, because I brush him with it. And he loves that. He really, really likes being brushed. So I just started doing a little bit, but I stayed just on his shoulders doing it. And I'll show you in a minute. And what I do is, with him, we have a really clear system. So I'll do a couple and then I will stop. And he then paws me, when they touch you with your paw, you know what I mean? He paws me, and that is my signal signal. See how he gets quite relaxed during massaging. That is my signal that he wants me to carry on. If he ever shows any signs of, if you're stroking a dog or doing something to a dog, and then he suddenly starts sniffing something on the floor or anywhere, but suddenly just really, really starts sniffing something, then that is a sign that he's anxious and you must stop. It's the same with, I heard this example of it and I thought it was so good. If you're talking to somebody and they suddenly start pretending they're picking bits of stuff off their jumper that aren't there, that's a sign that they're not comfortable in that situation. And so if a dog is suddenly sniffing, that's a sign that he's not comfortable in the situation. So I know what signs to look out for. I did a whole video about it, all the different signs that a dog is scared or uncomfortable. And so I know those signs, and so I know when I need to just stop. Should we go back to this, my darling? Yeah. And I know that with Humps, when I need to, when he's showing me the signs and when I just need to stop, or if he doesn't, when I stop, if he doesn't paw me, then I know not to carry on, because that's the arrangement we have. And I'm able to do a bit with him. I may record it, I may not. I will see if I feel like it's messing with what I'm doing, then I won't record. I'll see how we go. But he normally turns all silly and starts doing belly, give me his belly and everything. But he's liking it. But at the moment, all I'm doing on him is so this actual shoulder area that I'm doing on Harry here, I do that shoulder area on Humps, just that shoulder area. We can't massage your belly. Well, we can, but there's not much point to it really. There's no muscles in there, is there? Are you going to sleep now? Are you falling fast asleep? We can't see. There you are. There we go. Are you falling fast asleep? Did you fall asleep? Did you? All right, we'll carry on a bit more. How long have you had? 11 minutes. Should we carry on a bit more? If I wasn't chatting to you, I would probably be going all over his body, down the other end, down to his back legs. Should we go down to your back legs a little bit? Yeah, let's work this. Oh, yeah. That's another thing a dog will do. Sometimes when you do a back leg like that, they'll stretch the leg right out because that feels really nice and you can get right in there into the muscles and relax them. Oh, is that lovely? They're all stretched out so we can get right into there. Yeah, well, I'll carry on for a bit more with Harry and then I'll show you doing Humps. Right, so that's Harry finished. So he had 20 minutes all in all. It's nice and relaxed from it, as you can see. Yeah, did you enjoy that? Yeah? Well, now I'm going to do Humps. Now, he may or may not want to be done. He doesn't always. And so we'll see how we go. So what I do is I just sit on the floor. Whereas with these two, I call them up onto the sofa just because it's easier for me, really. But what I do with Humps is I go and get on the floor with him. Oh, hello, my darling. So we've got lots of good signs. Tail wagging, he's come to me. And most importantly, he's doing the paw. Do you want me to do this? Yeah? Yeah, oh yeah. Now, he gets as close to me as he possibly can. Yeah. And he gets a bit silly like this. Yeah, you do, don't you, darling? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, don't you? Yeah, you do. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see what I'm doing. Now, I only work this shoulder area with him at the moment. And I go very gently on that. And he pushes into it. So he is determining how hard that is. So I'm going really slowly. It's vitally important that I'm relaxed, which I am. I'm very relaxed. And then let me show you. So I'm going to take it away and stop. And he'll show me a signal I want to carry on. Do you want me to carry on, Humps? Yeah, I'm going to take that as a yeah. Should we take that as a yeah? All right then. He gets a bit silly, as you can see. Yeah, he can. Sometimes he tries to grab the thing off me like a toy. Yeah, like that. Like that. Yeah, I know. And we do this bit here. And then eventually he calms down a bit. There we go. Yeah. Oh, is that lovely? Yeah, I know. Get those teethies. Look at those teethies. He's just rolling about, my darling. He's not as easy to do as the others because he just rolls around. No, you mustn't. No, you mustn't put my fingers in your mouth. If you want me to carry on, you have to. No. Oh, I'm going to take. Well, I'm going to take this as a sign that he wants me to carry on. But if he was to walk away from me or go and play with his toys, I would stop or wait for either where he paws me or like this where he's walking into me. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but he's leaning into that, and I'm not putting any pressure on that. He is determining how much pressure goes into that. I'm just going to work around here a bit, and then I stop. Now he's walked away. He's gone to get a drink, so that's fine. So let him go. No pressure there at all. Now, if he wants to come back and have some more, he can. Or if he doesn't want to, it's fine. Now, he may be using that as an excuse because if it was a bit intense. He may be using that as an excuse. And either way, it doesn't matter. He can come back if he wants to. Are you coming back or are you not coming back? Oh, hold on. He wants to go out now. No, he didn't want to go out. And he's come back to me, but he's not pushing into me, and he hasn't given me a paw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the position I'm in to be further away from him, so I can be sure if he wants me to carry on. So he's come to me, and he's given me the paw. And the arrangement that I have with him is he has to touch this, and then that is his way of telling me that he's okay for me to carry on. Can you hear Harry still grumbling because he wants another turn? You just had a 20-minute massage, darling, and now you want another one. And so he's leaning right into me with that. And so the same thing, really, really gentle pressure. And he's pushing into that. So I'm letting him decide how much pressure on that. If he wasn't leaning into me, I would go really gently with it. Yeah. He's trying to climb up onto my lap, so I know that he's okay. He's comfortable with it. Again, remember to breathe. Sometimes it's easy to forget to breathe. Harry, darling, you had your turn. You just had a 20-minute massage. How much more do you want, my darling? But you already had 20 minutes. You looked lovely and relaxed at the end of it. Yeah, you did. I'm just doing Humps. It's his turn. You're having to think about that, whether it's acceptable or not. So I'm just going to carry on with this. And now I'm going to take it away and stop and see what he wants to do. Now he's licking his leg. Now that could be real, or it might not be. Now he's put the paw on the Kong, so fine, off we go again. I've said it before, but before we had Humps, and with these two and any other dogs that I've had, we're ignoring Harry because he's ruining the ambience. Just don't get distracted by other dogs. Just focus on the dog that you're on. As I was saying, with other dogs, before Humps came, if a dog was pawing at me to have attention, I used to tell them to stop being bossy because I didn't like them doing it to other people. I thought if they went up to people and were pawing them to be stroked, I didn't think it was nice. I didn't like it. So I used to say stop being bossy. But with Humps, I let him do it because it's a really clear indication to me that he's happy for me to carry on. Right, so you see he's just walked away there and he's gone to get a toy. Now toys, the reason that you will notice I have toys all over my house is because he uses them as a way to get rid of any anxiety. And so even though he knows me very well, we have a great bond, he wasn't stressed, he still might feel a bit of stress from that intense interaction with me. And even though he, honestly, he's always, you've seen me in my videos, he's very, very cuddly with me, but that was still quite an intense interaction and having the massage. So he might just have a little bit of tension that he needs to get rid of. You're bringing me that hat? We'll play in a minute, darling. I'm just trying to talk to the people. We'll play in a minute. In a minute. And so, yes, so Hump's walking away and playing with his toy could well be just a way that he's going to get rid of that little bit of tension. So if you've got a dog that you're massaging and he walks away and there's toys on the floor and he grabs it and he starts ripping it, it could be a sign that he just found the interaction a little bit intense and he just wants to get rid of a little bit of anxiety. He may well come back to carry on, or he may not. That might be done. So I'm not even going to give Humps the option of coming back. I don't want to overdo it. So I'm just going to leave that now and he can just be left to play. It's amazing. I did do a video about how dogs use toys to calm them down. And I'll just quickly tell you in case you don't know. So there's a part of the brain, the fight or flight response. And if you have gone into a panic, it's how you get yourself back calm. And we trigger that by deep breathing, especially breathing out slower than you breathed in. But dogs obviously can't do that. But they could do it by chewing. So if they're chewing at a toy, they can flip themselves from a panic state to a calm state. So toys are excellent for that. Right, that's us done. You done? My little Albert is behind me fast asleep. So that's it. That's how I massage my boys. I do that once a week. And yeah, I think they're definitely more flexible for it. They don't seem to have stiffness and stuff. We're going to go now. Well, what would you like to say? Would you like to say anything? You got anything you want to say? Anything? No? What would you say if you could talk? I wonder, eh? Okay then, so as always, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. Comments are in here. You can comment on here if you want to. And, you know, don't hesitate. Any questions you've got about it, just ask me in comments. So I hope that your dogs are well. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.